raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. Guide your way, yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Please take a few moments and say whatever prayer you need to say in your hearts. First bowing of 3 times for Ting. Bow. As such. Bow again. One more time. For Chi. Bow once. Second. And thrice.
Yo, it's me, Jabril. Arm & Hammer asked me if I could answer some stimulating.
You can tell that was him.
I made this robot to act.
Now for Shen. One more time. Second. And third. The fire in your candles will burn out. Do not let the fire in your hearts subside. Hold true to the truths, to the wisdom that you learned from Lao. That is his legacy. He was both divine and human. Love him for all that he was, all that he is, all that he ever will be. Now please blow out your candles. Thank you. Everyone, please have a seat. Now, up next, Harry will lead us in some chanting. And if you haven't already, and if you want to participate in the chants, please grab one of the copies up here. If we need to make more copies, we certainly can. Harry, you have a... Okay, awesome.
Explain the chants that I'm going to do today, and maybe even why I chose this particular set. To open with just a simple veneration for the Buddhas, all the Tathagatas. The second, for eliminating fears in any situation. Well, I'll go back to the start, and I'm going to pronounce it once before we get started. The first one, the veneration, Om Sarva Tathagata Paravandanam Keromi. Om, I bow down to the feet of all the Tathagatas. And the next one, for eliminating all fears in any situation. This is for all beings, and all of these are for all beings, not just for physical beings, but also for spiritual beings. So for eliminating all fears in any situation, Om Vajra Naye Hom Pat. For good harmony among all relatives. We are all a family, and it is important that we all have harmony. As a family, we need to all have harmony. So, Om Kiri Samanya Swaha. For achieving the way, or for achieving the Tao of Immortals, the 5-colored cloud mantra, Om Vajra Gariradza Hamsa. For rebirth in the heavenly palaces, the red lotus mantra, Om Shangali Swaha. For making all living beings always respect and love each other, the joining mantra, Om Paramanchaling Hri. And finally, the mantra of light, which is what I've been chanting every night on YouTube for him for 49 days. This is one of the many translations, but praise be to the flawless. So praise be to Vairochana. Vairochana being the original idea of a Buddha, they call the Sun Buddha or the original Buddha. So praise be to the flawless, all-pervasive illumination of the great mudra, the jewel. So we have the mantra, the mudra, the jewel in the lotus, and the radiant light. So my translation, my personal translation, the one I read was actually from the scripture book. Praise be to, or in recognition of Vairochana Buddha, the great mudra, the great mantra, the mani jewel, the lotus, the light, all things ascend. So this is a mantra that's chanted when someone passes, and it is to help them to have safe passage into their next light and their next life, whatever that is. So I'm going to start by setting the space of the room with the gong. and then I will begin the chanting. And just for anybody who's here, if you walk up later and look at this gong, the mantra that's carved into this gong is actually the mantra of light, the last one that we'll do. So just take a deep breath, relaxing into the moment. We'll do 7 strikes of the gong.
Thank you so much, Harry. That was beautiful. So now I want to make some space to allow anyone who wishes to say anything on this occasion. Anything that matters, anything that pertains to love, anything that pertains to peace, anything that pertains to his memory and to his legacy. First, I would like to invite Ana Paula.
First, I'm going to play a song. With DirecTV. Sorry.
Didn't know today would be our last, or that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe. There will be another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the throne tonight. Always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must meet another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah. Just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight. Okay. I hope I can get through this. I have been thinking about what to say today, and nothing seemed right. The last 2 months have been the most profound transformation of my life. I feel like everything I was is now broken into a million pieces. I am a very different human being, and life as I knew it is gone. But that was Patrick's greatest gift. His presence transformed you. We met 17 years ago, and our story together began 14 years ago. Without a shadow of a doubt, he is and always will be the love of my life. I have never met anyone who could love harder or deeper, who was more expressive and passionate about life. Never met anyone else who could make you feel like the center of the universe and show you how magnificent you are. He had the most generous heart and the most sensitive soul. Not many got to see the real man, and it was an honor for me to witness it. Our last 2 months together were the most profound experience of my life. In the midst of so much pain, our souls were completely connected, and I got to experience what unconditional love feels like. I couldn't begin to describe what we had. I personally have never felt like I belong in this world. My internal world is immense and rich, but until Patrick, nobody had ever seen it. He's the only person that truly knows me completely. The moment I met him, my soul connected with his, and I never again felt alone, even in the midst of human challenges, of long hours of work. My spirit had finally found a home. Our worlds couldn't have been more different. Our cultures, native languages, personalities, but our connection and love were unlike anything I have ever experienced. The last day of his life transformed me completely. It was possibly the most beautiful experience I have ever had. Not many will understand why I can find beauty in death. But if you could have been there, you would have felt what absolute and complete unconditional love feels like. It changed me forever. It was my greatest privilege and honor to experience this lifetime with my soulmate through the toughest of human challenges and the deepest love. Thank you, boy. Our hearts will always be together. And I promise I will live life the way you taught me, without reservations, jumping off the cliff and spreading my wings. I promise I will let the world see my magnificence like you always asked me to. My love for you is eternal. And I wanted to share with you one of the first letters that he sent me at the beginning of our relationship. We emailed a lot. I have many poems and many letters from him, but I just wanted to share this because it's so him. Anna, your letter has sparked a memory deep inside me that has not stirred in a good long time. You see, it is very difficult for me to completely be me publicly because of the things in my life that have brought me to where I am today. You see, I have seen the horrors of humanity, and it is very terrible indeed. But also, I have seen the best in humanity, and it transcends all that can be spoken with the clumsy tongues that we as humans possess. I was also born with a very special gift. I seem to be able to feel things inside people. And because of that, I have been able to sense in you a feeling that makes me believe I have known you since the morning of creation. You are like the flower that is the first to bloom in a snow-covered field on the first dawn of spring. It has always been very difficult for me to speak with you and not just hug you or touch you in some way. I feel a sense of closeness that makes it awkward. When I'm around you, I feel as if my spirit can speak volumes to you that my weak mouth cannot. It is very sad, too, because people today cannot understand this closeness without ascribing some base and purely physical intention behind it. But I do not live in that world, truly. I live in a world in which I have seen inside mountain ranges that haven't been stepped on in 1,000 years by people, and I have wept inside at the beauty there. I see this in you, too. I also feel a vulnerability with you that I have not felt since I was a child. Yes, I'm very strong, but strength to me doesn't necessarily mean physical or mental. It means spiritual and emotional. I have loved deeper and more completely in my life, and it has cost me dearly every time. Yet, I would not live or love any other way. When I'm around you, I can feel the depth of who you are, and it is like the vastness of the deepest ocean. You're so life-giving, so supportive, so incredibly complex, yet so beautiful and encompassing that I could get lost in a lifetime of knowing you, and yet I do not feel that I could ever really see the entirety of just who you are. It is like somehow I am whole again after having been without my eyes or hands. I hope that you understand my meaning and that this makes sense to you. You give me so much in terms of being able to be free. I'm deeply indebted to you. And one last thing I wanted to share with you. This is one of my favorite little letters that he sent. My love, I just had to write you. I want you to always know what's in my heart. I love you so much. I have literally started to ache without you. I see you everywhere I go. I dream about you every night. You have become so much a part of me that I feel phantom pains when you're not here. My heart hurts so bad right now. I miss your mom. This is when my mom died. I miss you, and I just want to hold your belly and kiss my baby. I keep reaching for you in the middle of the night. When you get home, I'm not letting you out of my sight. I have never wanted someone so badly in all of my existence. I love you more every day, if that's even possible. You really are my soulmate, and I hope you can forgive me for not being there when you needed me the most. I promise I'll never let you down again. I love you. Eternally yours, Patrick.
Thank you, Ana Paula.
Morning.
Always filled with stories to share with me. The stories were fun, entertaining, and often held some kind of lesson. There was one where he told me about this policeman. I don't even know if this truly existed or it was just a story to share a lesson. But here it goes. This policeman got shot in the shoulder. You guys might have even heard this story yourselves. It wasn't a serious wound. He probably would have survived anyway. But because of that fear and belief that he had that he was going to die, he wound up dying anyway. You see, belief can have a very real consequences. If you believe something strongly enough, there's a very good chance that that belief will come to be. I used to believe that my dad had outgrown me. I thought that he was done with me. This is why, for the last 6 years, we really didn't talk. We didn't communicate. It wasn't until I found out that he was dying that we started talking again. And at the very last moment, I was able to come back to Houston to be with him not long after he passed. That's a gift that I will always be grateful for. At the very last moment, I was able to break the spell that I created in my own head that he was done with me. Was he really done with me? No, not at all. He was tired. He worked so much for the clinic and the Dow program to be successful that he often just did not have enough energy for me or the rest of the family when he came home. And when someone's store of energy is depleted, well, you can be as well-meaning as possible and still fall short. You see, my dad was both a superhero and just human at the same time. And I mistook his fatigue for being done with me. I believed it, and I made it a reality for the last 6 years. I was wrong. Now that death has given me time and perspective, I realize he did love me. I remember when he would spend time with me coming home from his deployments and tell me all of his stories, like the one about the policeman and others about his military work and what he was accomplishing. I remember watching movies like 300 with him and seeing his face light up like crazy. Wow, yeah, okay. I remember walking with him, just him and me, in Herman Park. It was so special that at 6 years old, I believed that that was my Christmas gift. I know it sounds silly, but my parents were divorced. My mom was often out partying, my grandmother had severe depression, and my grandfather was a workaholic. My dad was the only real adult that I knew. My dad was the only one who really wanted to spend time with me. So no, he wasn't done with me, he was just exhausted. Be careful with what you believe. It may not be real, but it can really cause harm. Thank God I was able to remind myself of what was real. My dad worked so hard that he wore himself out, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he really loved me. He really loved his family. And I will always be that 6-year-old girl walking through the Japanese gardens in Herman Park, looking up at her dad with admiration and love. Please.
I just wanted to say thank you to every one of you. In your own way, you gave us so many gifts, whether it be donations so that we could, not work and be present for the last 2 months of his life, whether it be food. We got time together. A lot of you gave me hugs, beautiful words, letters, stories. Each one of you made this possible so that we could actually enjoy our last 2 months of life together. I'm beyond grateful. I will never forget the kindness and the compassion and the love. I honestly never expected it. I knew he loved his students. Obviously, he always talked about you guys, and he spent most of his time dedicated to his students and to his work. And the way you all and our friends from the gym and our friends from homeschool and all the friends, the way you have been there for us as a family, allowed me to be there in the hospital with him, for all the friends that took care of my kids and had him at home for several days, several nights, so that I could spend a whole week at MD Anderson. It's priceless. This is the best gift you could have given me, and I'm so grateful. When I met him, he told me that the thing that healed you the most in life was ice cream. He's like, it heals even cancer, which is ironic. Anyways, there's ice cream in the cooler back there, in his honor. There's all kinds of toppings and sauces and stuff, plus all the food that you guys brought. Please enjoy. Know that he loved you. He talked about all of you. I've heard so many stories. And you were such a huge part of his life until the last minute. I mean, literally, he taught his small class at MD Anderson exactly 1 week before dying. He could barely walk a few steps. He couldn't even eat anymore. He hadn't been eating for 3 weeks. He was barely drinking water. But he turned on the computer to teach all his students again. So know that that's how important you guys were. I could barely speak. That's true. He couldn't speak, but he was there. So thank you all. We love you. And please enjoy the food. We're going to play some music and just kind of hang out. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it.